Let's turn to Jeff Kilburg here. Jeff, you're up. You know, you can come at this. Let's stay for now on Tesla and kind of the ramifications of everything that's going on with the auto fight and with Elon Musk's kind of attention elsewhere. What would you say to investors?
Well, I think it's going to be fascinating to see because I think the Tesla BYD conversation will heat up as Chinese tariffs and President Trump continue to see that ratchet up. But what's fascinating to me is that Tesla is just having a pullback here. We were aggressively writing calls when it was above 400. So it's always been a volatile stock. So I think Tesla is still on track. But the competition, the deep sea conversation, this is all going into the input. Now, what's fascinating to me is that NVIDIA is kind of not involved in this pullback here because of the fact that they're still buying chips. So I think we have to wait more here. But Tesla is a name that I do own. I've owned it for a while. We will be adding when it gets closer to 300 because I think it has the ability to be that robo-taxi, to be that autonomous driver that we all hope for.
Yeah, on Election Day, which I think was November 7th, the stock was trading at 296 and we're at 333. So it hasn't fully retraced, but I know a lot of the investors are frustrated. What would you say to them, or how? Look, you're one of them. So is this because it's perceived that he is distracted by so many other look, we heard about one of his top sergeants, not a Tesla guy, but very involved in the Doge efforts. Is that part of what's going on here, or is it the competition we just described? Lyft reports tonight.
My view, my perspective is it's not the distraction. He's able to run all these companies. He has for quite some time. But I think this has been Tesla's story. You have to stomach the volatility, but we still have to wait and see on how all the competition comes out. Certainly the Sam Altman conversation, you're seeing Tesla down another 5% today. So there's an emotional component into the stock. We saw it went down under 150 just 2 years ago when he was getting really involved in buying Twitter and getting involved in the political scene. So I think Tesla has that emotion, but I want to be an owner here. I think he continues to bring solutions to the marketplace. However, it's going to be fascinating to see how that competition really helps accelerate potentially his delivery in the robo-taxi.
For those who are sort of looking for another bandwagon to jump on, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. You know, Waymo, obviously, that's part of Google, a little bit harder to bet on. Would Lyft be attractive to you for that or other reasons? Are you listening for anything in particular tonight?
So Lyft, I'm only looking at this as a short-term trade, Kelly. If you look at Lyft in itself, it had 28 rounds of venture funding before its IPO, about $5 billion they raised. They raised another $2.5 billion on their IPO. So they've all in raised $7.5 billion, and the market cap is $6 billion. It's 80% off its all-time high. So it's been a disaster of an investment. But I do think from a short-term perspective, I know they talked about Mobileye rolling out cars in 2026. 2026 is a long time away from now, but I think you can have the opportunity to buy it because of the fact they have a 24 million person user base. It would actually be a great acquisition for a robo-taxi or some other autonomous driving company to put it in place. So I want to be a buyer here. I'm actually using options. I'm selling puts. I'm trying to sell puts right here, expiring on February 21st, just next Friday, Kelly. I'm going to collect about $1 selling that 14 put. So if it goes below, I'm happy to own Lyft at $13. But if it goes back above, then we're going to collect that income of $1. So Lyft is a very volatile, high beta stock. It's not a long-term trade, but I think has the opportunity, as it's beat up today on this news, to deliver on the earnings.